Hello everyone, we have Carlos Costa here with us. He's popularly known as Charlie. He's one of the renowned physiotherapist on the ATP tour. He's worked with former Roland Garros champion Ana Ivanovic, German tennis player Tommy Haas, and former world number 5 Kevin Anderson. Also, he's presently working with Portuguese national teams at Fed Cup and Davis Cup, and he's the physiotherapist for tennis player João Sousa. So, welcome to our show, Carlos.
Hello, nice to meet you.
So, thank you. So, how are you doing, and how did you manage this unexpected long suspension on the tennis tour?
Yeah, it's not easy. I think. Well, first of all, thanks for having me today. I think it's quite good for all the fans around the world and for everybody that have like this passion for tennis and want to see tennis live. And well, it's not easy. I think since the COVID happened, things changed a lot. The calendar, the how the tournaments happen like without public. Some tournaments had some public, but not too many people. Just like a few here and there, as you can see on TV as well. But I think we are kind of adapting to this new circumstance, and well, we have to be thankful that tennis is still able to keep going, let's say, in these times.
Mahalakshmi? Sorry, Carlos.
Okay.
Yeah.
The connection was lost for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mahalakshmi, yeah, you can continue. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Carlos. So currently you're working with Sousa. How is he dealing with this pandemic and all the mental and physical challenges which other tennis players faced last year?
Yeah. So yeah, it was not easy. I think the most challenge thing that he was like facing was like he was coming back from an injury, Joao, and well, all the mental and physical is always like also the emotional part is not an easy thing to come back from an injury. All the players have some aches here and there, but an injury kind of debilitates all the game, all the performance, and is always there in the mind. And well, they have to cope with that, find strategies to find better solutions in the game, adapt a bit the game to accommodate like the injury, and find always the solution is the most important in every match they play.
Yeah, hello.
The connection is not good. Is mine or yours?
I think mine is all right.
No, Mahalakshmi, your connection is not good. I can hear Carlos.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it fine now?
Yeah, it is right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you continue, Carlos?
Yeah, he finished the
Okay.
John Sosa part. You can continue. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. So you were working with two-time Grand Slam finalist Kevin Anderson, and he's one of the players who has suffered a lot of injuries. So, what were the biggest challenges you faced while working with him?
Well, I have to start with the beginning. When we start, he was already like with a big injury in both knees at the time. Right from the beginning, it was like quite of a challenge. I didn't know he had like this issue, but as we progressed and we got to know each other, things got better and better and better, and he got to a place that things got stable. And then when he got stable, he could perform in his best potential, let's say. And from then on, I think the first year was kind of just catching up because of all these injuries that he had. It was like when it's like a cascade. When you have like an injury and you really try hard to still keep going, things can happen somewhere else. So like he started from the knees, but then he had like a problem in his shoulder, and then he had something else. But then at some point he said like, I think we just need to take a break, take care of the body, because that's the most important thing. And then when you get really recovered, then then you can go, like we say, like full to the court, like in a full performance, like feeling 100%. And that's what he did. It took a long time, but I think it was very good for him, and in the overall performance, it was much better. And it took like 1 year to get to the performance that he was previously. And then from then on, he was like just better and better and better. And then suddenly he just got to a finals of a Grand Slam in a US Open. I remember that was very significant for me because it was the finals was in the same date of my birthday. So it was like a double a double celebration. Although we didn't win, is very special to be in a final of a Grand Slam. Everybody's like, it's crowded. You just feel it's just a complete different atmosphere. And then the second one was the finals of Wimbledon, because I want to finish my masters. I told Kevin the year before that I want to stop traveling on the tour, just because my master's in London was a full-time course, and I didn't want to delay more because I've been traveling for maybe 8-9 years at the time. And I said, okay, I think this is the time we finish in Wimbledon, and then we just separate, because I want to finish my course, and you find another physio for sure. And then that's what we did. And good thing is that he did finals again in Wimbledon. And I think that was like the best thing you could possibly happen between us, because that was a good ending, let's say.
Yes, Wimbledon was definitely an incredible moment for Kevin. And before going to the finals, he had played 2 long matches against Federer and Isner, like in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. And definitely it tested Kevin's mental and physical resilience, those matches. So can you share how was it working with him and during that enduring week at Wimbledon?
that week brings me a lot of memories. Like against Federer, it was really unbelievable. We knew that Kevin was in really high performance at the time, and really in good spirits, like feeling good, playing good. It was just like everything was just rolling. And then when he played against Roger, well, you know that Roger is the king of the of the grass, so he was like very scared what could happen. But when you go for a match, you always go with everything you can. So we don't go like 90%, we go 100%, and we give it all. And Kevin is like a player that really gives it all in that situation, and that's what he did. We say like, we know that Roger is the best players of all time in tennis for sure, but you always have a chance. So keep fighting and keep challenging yourself, because you never know. Sometimes the chances happen, and in the end, it really happened. And Kevin really showed to himself and to us that things can change if you really believe in yourself, and if you keep trying and trying, and the hard work always pays off in the end. And the hard work always pays off, because in Isner, I think it was like 6 hours 30 something
36 minutes, 6 hours and 36 minutes.
36 minutes. Yeah, I just remember I was completely drained after the match. We keep giving him electrolytes, bars, everything, just to keep him just like conscious, because it was like a huge fight. I never see such a long event like that, like a match so long. we start like the match, and then it was like 3 hours, then suddenly it was 4 hours, 5, 6, and then the time just keeps going. And it was like unbelievable performance from Kevin. We were like all grateful from to be there and see that happen live. I think it was just like a memory that nobody would forget for sure, because when we get together in the locker room, it was like we just get really emotional about the match, and it was like just a roller coaster, but a good one.
Definitely, and it was a memorable match for all the tennis fans.
Yeah.
So on the same note, like he had to play Djokovic, another champion, great champion, in the Wimbledon finals. So did the training routine progressively change, like after going deep into the finals and for playing his biggest match?
Sorry, what was the question?
Like, did the training routines progressively change, the physiotherapy and everything before the finals?
Oh, for sure. After the Isnes match, I just remember it was we tried to give him the best recovery he could ever been. Like I just remember the same night after the match of the Isner, I remember waking up at 3:30 in the morning. He had like pain in the feet, really bad one. He couldn't touch anything, and couldn't sleep because of the pain. Suddenly, and then it's just like wake me up. He said like, "Can you do something to see if I can just at least sleep through the night, because this is really painful." And then I just remember just like went there. I just did lots of fascial treatment, recovering the muscles, like tension of the ligaments, and like just did a really good treatment there. And then suddenly was just falling asleep right away after like, I don't maybe say like 15 minutes. I think was just tired, but the feet was just like in pain. And then we also give him like so like fruits that are like red are very good for against toxins in the bloodstream. So everything that we could give him before bed, we give him. Also sometimes a protein just to muscle recovery. And then the next day we say like, just see how you feel. And then we, even if we just eat 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just to move a little bit I think is enough, because the thing is you need to be ready for the final. Tomorrow is just a recovery day. Just take it like that. We don't need to practice more. And that's what we did. We just went there. He said like, oh, I don't feel so bad actually. And then suddenly he could play, I think, for 30, 40 minutes. And then he said like, I think I'm done. And then he said like, okay, I'm ready for the finals.
All right. So going a bit back in time, talking about former world number 2 tennis player Tommy Haas.
Yeah.
In 2012, he defeated the king of grass, Roger Federer, in the finals of Halle, and it was in straight sets. So how special was that victory for you?
That was another special moment. Yeah, that was yeah, we start not too early before that. I think we start working together maybe half a year before, something like that. And then we start to be full on the tour. And then suddenly, because at the time he was like 106 in the world, and thinking, okay, maybe I do one more year and then I retire. And then suddenly start to play better and better again. And then suddenly he wins Halle against Roger, and we were like, whoa, I think he still has something in the tank to keep going. So that was a really good final. I think he did the no one forced errors, and I was like, this is crazy. But if Tommy plays like this, it can be really good again.
If I'm not wrong, he also bounced back from a break. He was a breakdown in the first set, and then he recovered that break from Roger.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was really funny. He told us after, I think it was on the second set, he was so tight and nervous that those two fingers of the hand cramp. so he couldn't shake the hand with the racket. The racket was like holding in the hand because it was so tight from the nerves. But I don't know how he did it, but he made it through. So it was really funny, but was not funny, but afterwards was funny to tell us that.
So you have also worked with the former world number one Ana Ivanovic. And what are the major differences of working with the female tennis players and male tennis players?
Oh, is a big difference. I don't know how to explain, but I think let's say I think emotional, the woman's side has more of that side in the like together with the tennis. I think they experience emotions a bit more deeper than the men, and that interferes a bit more with the tennis, I think. But I mean, we had a really good time together for sure, because at the time when I worked with her, it was because of she had a tear in the abs, so she pulled the muscle, I think, during a serve. So we get together and she said like, oh, I really like you, so if you can keep working with me, I would appreciate. And then we did 2 or 3 more treatments, 2 or 3 more tournaments, and she was free of pain free, so I think it was a good thing. But you can really see the difference, because I have also other physiotherapists that I know that work more in the woman's side, and they say sometimes you are not so much a physio, you are more like a psychologist and more like a friend sometimes. But it's okay. I think men sometimes also have like some breakdowns that happen. It happens both ways, but maybe more in women.
So can you tell us the importance of having a physio for a tennis player?
Well, I think the most important is a prevention, because it's not a contact sport, tennis.
Yes.
We really can operate in the prevention side, and at the same time give him better option to perform better with their own abilities. So it's like it's a two things that they benefit from having a physio full time, and at the same time, well, to have a physio when you want, like, let's say, I would say like, oh, I prefer physio, like to have the treatment a bit later, before dinner or after dinner, something like that is always beneficial, because it's more like in their own rhythm, you know. It's like they wake up, they prefer to have this and that, so it's a bit more specific to their own needs. And but I think the most beneficial thing about having a physio is also because they can last long through the season without so many injuries, because prevention is key to have a fuller schedule through the year.
Definitely. So in your opinion, who do you think is the fittest ATP and the WTA tennis player?
That's a good question. Nadal, Djokovic, and Roger, they are pretty up there. I think it's very difficult to distinguish between them. Maybe nowadays Nadal and Djokovic, I would say, in the men's side, are the really fittest. Well, they can see, because Nadal just won Roland Garros again, and he's playing unbelievable as before, and Djokovic is also like up there as with him. And in the women's side, I would say I really like Serena Williams. I really like her, and she's top fit for me. She's very strong. I think the overall picture in the women's side, I would say Serena for sure. But well, you always have like Halep and all the other ones that are like up there. Osaka is also, for me, is also really fit. I would say those three are for me like the best ones, that are always like on the fitness level really high.
Okay. So you mentioned like Nadal is one of the fittest tennis players, but if you see on the other side, Nadal players like Nadal, Del Potro, they have been always been prone to injuries. So what is one advice you would give to them?
It is a tough combination because is how do you say, to prevent, you always need a really good balance between performance and recovery, and sometimes to get the really high performance, that to be like, let's say, the number one, you have to train really hard, so you are always risking your body to injury. But I think the key is going to be always to find the balance between training hard but at the same time smart, so you have like breaks and times to recovery that like give you the time for the body to heal that process, not always like pushing, and at some point it just doesn't hold and you get injured because of that.
Okay. So moving on to some fan questions, like we came across one of your photographs traveling with Roger Federer and Tommy Haas. So
Yeah.
can you tell us like how was your experience traveling with Federer?
Yeah, it was really fun. I think it was after the finals in Halle, maybe.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was like a long time ago, but it was like, I think after the finals in Halle, we went to Wimbledon, and because Tommy and Roger, they are really good friends.
Mm.
Who sometimes we hang out together and stuff. And Roger said like, how you get into Wimbledon tomorrow? And I think Tommy said like, oh, we're just buying the trip now or something like that. And Roger said like, no, just come with us because we have like the private plane, and just join us. And we said like, because at the time I think we were only three, so he was okay with that. And yeah, we just joined the trip there, and yeah, it was quite fun. We have always good times with Roger. He's really a fun persona, and he's very charismatic, as you can see on the always on the TV and interviews that he gives.
Yeah. So talking about Roger Federer's gameplay, like the style of play, do you really feel like it's an effortless thing which he does on court?
To get to that effortless movements, you need to train really hard and to become really automatic in your strokes and stuff. And people think people think it's easy, but to get that easy, there's a lot in the background that we don't see. And well, I know because I've been there. Well, actually, let's say one time we did like a week with Roger in I think in Swiss. We did a training block with him, like a week or week and a half, I think. And then it was really hard. It was really hard, and that's that's how it should be, because to be at Rogers level, Nadal level, Djokovic level, like top fit guys, you need to be really really working hard to be at that level. And I could see in first person at that time. And it was funny because right away we went to Munich and we won the tournament, because Tommy was so fit because of training with Roger that nobody could beat him. It was just like another level. And yeah, is interesting.
Right. So you just told me like a player invests a lot of time training into like everything, like forehands, backhands. So I really wanted to know like how many hours of fitness does an average tennis player do?
I would say tennis would say like around two and a half every day. And then you have like the fitness parts, would say like also 1 hour and a half. So I would say like altogether would be between 4 and 5 hours every day,
Mhm.
because sometimes you skip fitness and you train twice a day, like 1 hour and a half in the morning, 1 hour and a half in the afternoon, let's say. And also give like some fitness as well. but I think altogether is always depending on the day, but it varies between 3 to 5 hours every day, something like that.
Right. And who has been the most challenging tennis player to work with?
I think all of them have been challenging in their own way.
Mhm.
I think everybody has his own little things, let's say.
Mhm.
But most challenge, like he was. I think everybody was challenging. Like Tommy, because of the age, was quite of a challenge because of,
Mhm.
like when you age, the recovery is not the same when you are like 20, 30, something around that. At the time, he was like 30. When he worked together, it was like from the 33 till 36, something like that. So I need to be always on top of everything. So with Kevin was different because it was just like he's very prone. So big tall players, because of being so tall, they have to grind more, and they have more, let's say, challenge in the body to move the body, and that creates a bit more challenge to the body itself. So, but I think it was like both, one because of the age, Kevin because of the height. Everybody has their own, like, let's say, challenge to face. And I think we should appreciate just to experience the process, and the journey is always a factor that is always good for every team, I think.
Right.
I prefer to look at it as a challenge than as a pressure, because then I can cope
Okay.
better with that.
Okay, nice to know that. So, can you construct a perfect ATP player in your opinion? Like what a perfect ATP player should look like forehand, backhand, movement, and everything.
I think for myself, the best picture that you can see is from Roger. I think
Mhm.
I think for me is like a perfect. But if you can create like a perfect player, I
Mhm.
think would be maybe Kevin or Isner serve, the forehand of Nadal, the backhand of Roger, and if you have the defense of Djokovic, I think you can not that nobody can beat you easily.
Yes.
But yeah, I think in the end, every sport is like an art, and although it's like a sport and they have to train, they are like masters of the art itself as a sport. And I think some can get a really good grasp of the technique itself, like Roger and all these top guys. But for me, I think the more beautiful to see is the Roger kind of match. Yeah,
So your favorite player is Roger Federer, I suppose.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So if I want to
So
watch a TV, because I watch so much tennis live, if when I put the TV on, is either because of a final or because it's somebody really good like Roger, Djokovic, or Nadal playing.
okay. So to wrap up the interview with, so can you tell us your 2021 personal goals? Like what are your goals in 2021?
Yeah. So I think my goals about this year, first is to see if the Olympics are really gonna happen, and maybe try to help the Portuguese Federation to get there with some players. That's something that I have in my mind really strongly. And another thing is that hoping that this year it will be more stable, because of last year was really unsure about everything, about the calendar, about the public, about everything. I think now ATP and WTA have a more stable organization and structure, so they're really trying hard to create a, the best experience possible for the fans, for the players, for the teams, and I think that's very good for them, because they're really working hard in that part. And I think besides that, just always help the players that I work for, and give them the best they can achieve. I think that's when I really feel happy, is when people that I work with get the real successful part of that.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for spending our time with us. And
You're
it was
welcome.
a pleasure to have you.
Thanks.
Okay. Have a nice day. Ciao, ciao.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks. Thank you. Just a question.
Yeah.
Varun,